Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science here in New York City, broadcasting all over the world. Whether you're joining us here on Zoom, which is where I see everybody's name on the screen, or Facebook, or YouTube, X, or Spotify, we're very happy to have you here with us today. Today is Mother's Day. We also meet every Wednesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Wednesdays are Creative Living series that Jimmy hosts, and I present the Louise material every Thursday, 7 o'clock. It's the same Zoom link. Many of you are on our mailing list. If you're new, please send us a private message with your contact information. That way we can be sure to send you our e-letter with timely tips, spiritual gems, and also if you include your phone number, we can send you a quick text reminding you of the classes and any of the gatherings we do. So please join us on the days that you can. You have the Zoom links. If you're here today, that means you already have the Zoom links. It's the same for every week. One thing's for sure is your presence is important to us. It adds to our joy. It adds to the community spirit. Everyone pretty much comments week by week how much they're getting out of listening to one another, your growth, your demonstrations, as you're working with the teaching itself, as you're putting the teaching to practice. Today is a special day of celebration for mothers everywhere. After the lesson, by the way, we always have a special time for personal sharing for any of you on the Zoom call. No one's obliged to share. We'd love to hear from everybody. Especially if you're new, please say hello and let us say hello back to you. If you're watching us on any of the other social platforms, we encourage you to join us on Zoom the next time. That way there's more personal interaction. Today, for example, we're going to be playing a song appropriate for this particular lesson. If you're watching a rebroadcast, you'll have to watch the song separately on YouTube. So if you can be a part of the Zoom community, then you're going to be able to interact with all of us. But however you get to us, you're in the right place at the right time. You can send us private messages in the Zoom chat with your contact information so we can send you our weekly invite, as mentioned. Our founder was Ernest Holmes. And he's a New Thought leader, was a profound thinker, student, and the founder of our teaching. And he once said, we do not, in our teaching, will things into happening. In fact, he said, we do not will things into manifestation. So these demonstrations aren't things that we can push and shove. We don't will things into manifestation. We do not will things into demonstration either, he said. Willpower, he argued, is irrelevant in this context, in what we do. So it's not about toughing it out. It's not like I've got strong will, I'm going to make this happen. He said this is irrelevant when it comes into the spiritual sphere and making demonstrations. Our teachings are not rooted in wishing or hoping. Again, our teaching, the science of mind is not rooted in mere wishing or hoping. And this is an important thing to understand. Wishing and hoping, according to Dr. Holmes, imply a lack of belief in the present reality of our desires. I remember coming up against that many, many years ago because I was always wishing and hoping. And I learned in my classes that in fact it was a lack of belief. It makes sense. So we affirm, prosperity is here. We affirm health is here. We don't wish for it. We know it is here. We talk about what we intend. We talk about what we know. If we're really engaging the law properly, we're not talking about wishes and hopes. So as Holmes was saying, it implies a lack of belief in the present reality of our desires. So he's talking about the reality of God, that I'm an inlet and outlet of God consciousness, that I'm supplied and supported. Those are facts. So that's a reality of life, that we are one with the one, that we are the attributes of God that we talk about: peace, power, love, joy, beauty, and wisdom. So we would say, I'm powerful, I'm peaceful, I'm a being of joy, I have health. So we're not talking about things that we wish for in the affirmative process. We're always talking about things that in reality we have. So, not to beat it to death, I just want to make sure everybody understands it. Wishing and hoping imply a lack of belief in the present reality of our desires. So the reality is we're always supplied and supported. The reality is we are always an inlet and outlet of this spiritual activity. Even when we don't feel connected to it, the reality is that we are still an inlet and outlet of it. We are an individualization of it. We're the whole bit. So there's not a spot where God is not. And that would suggest this spirit, this indescribable thing, is in you, operating through you. You're definitely a part of it. So instead of wishing and hoping, we engage in affirmative prayer, starting with the idea of connecting with Source. So we pause and we deeply reflect on this universal energy, this indwelling energy. God in me, Spirit in me, the hope of my glory, the realization that this thing that I've been looking for is already in me, operating through me, wooing me, guiding me. This source energy fills me, moves me, sustains me. And as I say that, this source energy fills you, moves you, sustains you. It's there. And if you be still and know that you are that thing, you've heard the saying, be still and know that you are God. When you calm your mind and you get yourself to a place where you can reflect and be quiet, you will know that deep at the center of your being is an infinite well of life, of divine activity. Spirit, it's always there. So let's take a moment together this morning to affirm, I am filled with the sustaining energy of the universe, now and always. Again, I am filled with the sustaining energy of the universe, now and always. Just breathe that in. Maybe one more time. All together. I am filled with the sustaining energy of the universe, now and always. And so it is. We recognize that this source is in everything, anything you can think of. There's not a spot where God is not. We recognize this source is in everything and all the time. There is a presence that permeates everything. Never an absence. There's a presence in all and all the time. It's in every particle, it's in every space, it's in every moment, and importantly, it is within us, each and every one of us. Holy, holy you. You know, it's not a joke, it's really the truth, is you are an inlet and outlet of spiritual activity. You have no way to really evaluate your worth, and you have no way of evaluating the worth of your brother or your sister, because everything is spiritual activity, everything is God in action. As we wake up to this divine fact, as we recognize that it is in all, we realize it's in us as well. Everything you look at, everything that you can think of, it's all spiritual activity. So we know that we live in it, we move in it, we have our being in it with this knowledge. So this is the mystical approach. You realize, my goodness, I live and I move and I have my being in it. With this knowledge, bringing this into our awareness, we're unifying with it by acknowledging that it operates within and through us. Louise would ask, what are you approaching the ocean of life with? Is it a thimble? Is it a cup, like this coffee cup? Or is it a large container? The universe can't do for you what it can't do through you. So in this teaching, we always are saying to work on developing positive expectancy, to hitch your wagon to the stars. The idea is creating a bigger mold, because The universe, it will give you according to what you mentally can envision and know that you deserve. So with clear intent and certainty, we declare our truths. Your words have power. They are your wand in this creative universe. Yes, you've heard this before. Your word is your wand in this creative universe. Take the time you need each and every day to align with the idea of this ever-present source. Take the time you need to feel its aliveness within you, knowing deeply that it responds to all your beliefs. Affirm with me today. With every word I speak, I create my world. Yes. With every word I speak, I create my world. Next, my words are powerful and intentional. My words are powerful and intentional. This process is not about manipulating life, but about opening ourselves to allow Spirit to express through us. In this endeavor, we must be vigilant not to let our own egos, what Emerson called the bloated nothingness, not to let that obstruct the divine circuits through which the universal energy flows. So we want to get all that racket, that bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuits, Emerson was saying. We practice positive expectancy, no matter what, using affirmations, using our faith to lift ourselves up and expand our consciousness. Through affirmative prayer, we become more aware of the truth because we're building up our consciousness. We're seeing the good, the God, in everything and all the time. We become aware of the truth and presence that surrounds us and inhabits us. As Emerson insightfully noted, it's crucial that we do not let our personal desires or fears get in the way of this divine flow. Because God is all there is, and it's going to continue to outpicture. And so we want to surrender and know that it's working out. As Louise Hay would say, that all is well. So by setting aside our smaller selves and ideas, we open pathways for Spirit to work through us, bringing about transformation and enlightenment. So trust life. Simply trust life. As you do this, as you set aside all our our wants and we begin to trust the process of life, we open up pathways or avenues in mind for Spirit to work through us, which will bring forth transformation and enlightenment. Let's affirm together today. I am an open channel for divine energy. Again, I am an open channel for divine energy. We live in a perfect universe. It's always been perfect, and it will continue to be so. Now, you might think otherwise, but through New Thought studies, you realize the profound beauty and inherent order in existence. Life is absolutely magnificent. It's a symphony of synchronicity, purpose, orchestrated by forces beyond anything we can imagine. As I close this part of the lesson, which is our Science of Mind part, let's hold in our hearts a final affirmation. I'm open to the divine orchestration of my life. I'm open to Spirit, trusting in the synchronicity and purpose that's guiding me now. Now, to celebrate Mother's Day, I have a song for you. I played it once before, a couple of years ago. It's a song for Mama, and we're going to play that for you. The song encapsulates the profound bond and enduring impact of the mothers in our lives. And when I say mothers, it could be an aunt or a grandmother. It could be anyone, really. So please enjoy and reflect on the lyrics, which we'll tune into shortly after a brief introduction to the song's relevance. Before we continue, let me remind you of all the work we do here at First Church is offered freely. Everything's a love offering. So for those who feel moved to support the work of the center, our efforts, the support links are in the chat. We thank you deeply for anything that you do to support the work we do. So here's our musical tribute. After it, we'll explore the deeper layers of our lesson today, encouraging each and every one of us to embrace the perfection in every moment and to view life's challenges as opportunities for growth and enlightenment. So let's play the music, and we'll see you at the other side. That was really, really nice. I'm sure most of you liked it. Some of you are listening to the broadcast and you may not see this song, so you can go to YouTube. We'll have a link here for you to listen to it on your own. I'm going to recite a few of the lyrics here for those of you who are watching it on the social media platforms. But I do recommend you go listen to the song. The song starts out, "Oh mama, you taught me everything. Everything you've given me, I'll always keep inside. You're the driving force in my life. There isn't anything or anyone I could be if I didn't have you by my side. You were there for me to love and care for me. Mama, you know I love you. Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like the tears from the stars. Mama, I just want you to know, loving you is like food for my soul." So for the rest of it, you'll have to Google it or go to YouTube. And as we reflect on these ideas today and on these great people, the importance of our mothers and the people who have nurtured us and all that they gave for us and gave up for us and did for us, I'm reminded of Maya Angelou, who said in a poem, she said, "To describe my mother would be to write about a hurricane and its perfect power, or the climbing and the falling colors of a rainbow." You know, each mother in her strength and her gentleness shapes the world in irreplaceable ways. So let me share a story that echoes this sentiment. It's called The Guiding Hand, and it's about a young woman, Elena, and her mother, Maria. In a small town, a young woman, Elena, struggled to find her way in life. Her mother, Maria, was a woman of wisdom, patience, and she knew her daughter was in distress, so she decided to take her on a walk, and they had long talks. They walked through their local nature preserve filled with majestic trees, flowers. And as they walked away, along the way, the mother picked up a small, smooth stone and she handed it to her daughter. And she asked her to hold it tight and to think about her dreams for the future. And after some moments, the mother guided the young girl's hand to plant the stone on the ground just beneath a young new sapling, a new tree. And she explained to her daughter, "This stone represents your dreams, firmly planted now by the nurturing ground, the ground of your values and the roots of your upbringing." So she was showing her to put the stone down there and explaining these dreams, if you nurture them, along with your values, your upbringing, just like this sapling, all this, your dreams will need care and support to grow, but they will grow. And she said, "I may not," this is the mother, "I may not always be here to guide you, but like this stone, the foundation I've given you will always support your growth." Many years later, after Maria had passed away, Elena visited this sapling, now a young but strong, thriving tree. Beneath it, after a bit of searching, she found the very stone, slightly buried but solid as ever. This story reminds us all of the foundational values we receive from our mothers, their care, and the people who nurtured us along the way, their continued support, their guidance, their love. Much like the presents that we align ourselves with at First Church in our spiritual practices. Here's the thing. The lessons that they taught, the love that they shared, always remain with us. Those lessons are here to steady us and strengthen us all through our lives, through every season of our life. Now I want to invite every one of you in the comfort of your own homes as you're listening. I want you to take a moment and reflect. What is the one lesson? There may be many, but pick one. What's the one lesson your mother, your grandmother, or your mother figure taught you that you carry with you all the time? The one that comes to mind today, at least. What one lesson comes to mind? I've shared a lot of things about both my parents and all the different lessons I've done over the years. As I reflect back on them, they were both very wise in their own ways, both loving in their own ways. One saying in particular that I've shared before, maybe I'll say two things today, from my mother that are in alignment with his teaching. My mother, in her, I think it was her mid-70s, commented to me once, "Your father and I were young when we had you kids." She said, "I want you to know there would be many things that we would do differently if we knew then what we know now." I think she understood what Louise Hay was teaching in the line of self-acceptance and self-approval. Louise would say self-acceptance and self-approval are the keys to all positive changes. My mother wasn't the type of person to live in the past. She never did her life that way. She was always a present moment person. And she knew always everyone was doing the best that they could at any moment in time. And I knew that she knew that. And then the line that I wind up using most weeks in every lesson is one that she told me so many times in my life. And it is this: it's entirely up to you. I didn't know the wisdom of those words when I was younger. It's entirely up to you. My mother would never think of telling me what to do. So that's my story with my mother. She would give me the room to make my mistakes, and she had confidence in me. So it's entirely up to you. That's what this teaching always teaches us. Ernest Holmes would say there's power for good in the universe greater than you, of which you're a part. And Ernest Holmes is suggesting to take up the reins and to, steer the stagecoach, as we say, So that's the message I was getting at home when I was younger. So now it's your turn, one and all. We'll be turning over the microphones, and everyone has a chance to share for at least a couple of minutes. And please talk, if you can, about how this lesson shaped the person you had become. What can you recall in particular from your mother, your grandmother, or whoever it was that raised you? What gift did you get? And I know, like in my own case, there's many, but choose one or two. As you think about this, also remember the warmth, the guidance, and perhaps even the challenges you went through together. All that's been woven together into this tapestry of love that was created for us. As we get ready now to transition from me to hearing from all of you, I want to thank each and every one of you for being with us on this very special Mother's Day. I think you guys are the best part of the service. I always say that. I love hearing your demonstrations and how the teaching is outpicturing your life. So whether you're joining us for the first time, and if you are, I want to say welcome to you, or you've been with us for many lessons, many seasons, your presence always enriches us. So we're about to open up the microphone to hear from everyone who wants to share your stories, your reflections, and your memories. This is a time for sharing, for community, and for gratitude. Happy, happy Mother's Day to all who are celebrating today. And thank you for bringing your spirit and your heart into this space. So let's open the floor. We welcome all your voices. We look forward to the wisdom and the memories you wish to share. So it is. Thank you.